Hello, hello. Welcome back, everyone. We're gonna continue some fun time adventures. I think. Let me. I'm just gonna adjust my window real quick so you won't be able to. You won't be able to notice what I'm doing, but it matters to me. So Samuel's going back to the hip. It's gonna be real fun. I'm going to walk around the hip, so I might as well just keep going. I stick to the back alleys instead of the main street. Some folks are beating their bed sheets with a stick, and I hear some folks laughing over games from their balcony, but it's otherwise real quiet. Sunday afternoons are the most crowded days at the hip, but they're the quietest for the powder room. I figure somebody or other will see me whether I take the front or the back entrance, so I settle for the front because I'll reach Dora quicker. But I look out. Not even Harlan is. Harlan's steely gaze is there to meet me. He's too busy taking orders. So I pad up the staircase and slip into the powder room. I see her sitting alone, sipping her mid-afternoon tea. Ma'am, are you busy? I realize that I'm out of breath as the words leave my rising chest. The doe's eyes flick to me, and her posture changes in her seat. Genuinely, I force myself to stay preoccupied. There's always something to do if you're proactive. But what do you need? I just wanted to let you know that I picked up a side job at the mines. The mines? She lets out a one-note laugh. You were quite adamant not to return there when I first found you. What's really going on? A friend just needs my help. That is all. He thinks it could be something big. And what if it is big? I honestly hadn't thought about what comes after. Then I'll worry about it when I have to, I suppose. Sometimes that's the most useful thing to do. You're actually agreeing with me, ma'am? Flexibility is important. You can't account for anything, everything always. I never could dedicate all my energy to one opportunity. Is this really as big as we think it could be? I could not have to work here anymore. I guess she's picking up on that too. Most of the workers don't stay here for too terribly long. They get tired of it, or find a husband, or enter different kinds of work when it's not too lucrative. You'd be difficult for me to replace, Sam, but I never thought you'd be here forever. Well, that's mostly what I wanted to talk about. I'm trying to live my life like this will only be 1 week's worth of work, and that's it. When they interviewed me, one of their bosses knew I worked here, and named Nikolai, who's one of my most private clients. Do you know how they'd know? Which one of them? Mr. Hendricks, the ram. She makes one long, extended hum. Well, the lazy answer would be William. Of course it could be William. Wait, what does she mean by lazy? He associates with you, the Badger, and the Robber Baron. But William doesn't make fair deals with his information. He will always ask for more than he's giving, because that's a much more dangerous weapon than the gun at his hip, and he will not make a losing deal. He's stubborn like that. And the ram is just too much of an idiot to see that he could be stinging when it comes to working with William. If the sheriff made no gains, and it would mean betraying the safety of the closest thing he has to an intimate friend. I think he's an unlikely source. I'm just gonna move my microphone real quick. So, who would have done it? Well, if you trust that it wasn't me, it would have to be one of the other miners who saw you and Nikolai together. Or, more likely, one of the ladies. One of our own? You know that we don't just deal in intimacy, Sam. Social currency is invaluable here. But as it goes for whoever leaks some information. She takes a pull of her cigar, then blows smoke. What goes around comes around. Has William come here for me? Unfortunately so. He dogged me for when you'd be back last night on 3 separate occasions, so he probably intends to ambush you. I wouldn't be surprised if he's hiding in your room right now. Jesus. You'd think he'd know it well by now, considering how often he sees it. I snort. He does always find me, one way or another. I take it you found somewhere else to stay last night, considering you never returned. Something like that, yeah. I can keep him away from you as long as I can, but he's eventually going to find you. I know that. Tell him the truth. Just not the useful truth. Hope I'm not causing too much trouble for you, ma'am. Oh, please. I've seen trouble before. This is a Sunday, my dear. You should get going, though, shouldn't you? Right. Thanks. Don't thank me. Think about how you are going to pacify the cop. Okay. Until next time, Samuel. So she expects me to fix this. Great. I make my way out of the building as quickly as I can without running or attracting attention. Seems like everyone is too busy to notice me still, so I make it out pretty easy. I knew I should be grateful that she's buying me time, but I need wits, not time. What bothers me most is that I actually need my room. I need to freshen up. My herbs and colognes are up there. Damn it, William. I walk back inside and make a beeline to the kitchen. There's a bar of soap there. I break off what I need and head out back to the back alley again. The shirt goes off first, and I lather up my bare paw with the soap and hose water. My face, my chest, my pits are clean first, then I splash my back. I'm keeping an eye on the door and the windows, knowing what I'm going to have to do next. I decided to keep my pants on while I lather on my paw again, sticking it down where I grab my cock and balls, rolling the suds over them, then into the spaces in between my thighs. My eyes look left and right as the hose splashes down my drawers. I'm not a weirdo. Sure you're not. I'm definitely not a weirdo. It's hot enough that my pants will dry if I move around. See, this is perfectly fine. Easy. All I have to do now is find out where the stag is located, so I can get to it on time before killing a few hours. But it takes me so long to find it that it's already about time to meet Nick and Yao. It's nighttime faster than I would have liked. And it surprises me how far this place is from Main Street. You'd think the whole point of a gathering place is to be accessible. But this way, this may as well be a private property leading into the woods. There's a long winding path that leads to what looks like the exterior of a barn. I think this is the wrong place, if not for the 24 or so folks with drinking Drinks chatting loudly outside between bales of hay. That music was a bit too loud in my ears. I'm gonna turn down the the game audio. The tangy instrumental music invites me through the barn double doors, and I see a room full of men packed elbow to elbow. It's not hard at all to find Nikolai, since he's the tallest person in the room. My eyes meet with his, and he lumbers over to me through the noisy crowd. He puts me into a big hug, slapping me on the back and laughing. "You're here!" "Course I'm here. You asked me to be." "I just never thought you would. I did not know if I should be happy that you are here, but my heart keeps filling up." What is that supposed to mean? I'm overthinking is all. "Let me order you a beer." "No, I should order my own." "Besides, you think they got whiskey?" "Do they have whiskey?" "They make their own." "Is that so?" "Maybe not import drinks like the hip, but it puts a fire in my belly." "Let me go buy a glass." "No, I'll buy the drink." "But..." "I insist. Head up the loft." "Up?" "There's a little ladder." He points behind me to the ladder nearby the bar. Near the top, I see Yao looking at us before he turns away and disappears behind the platform. Oh, come on, you're gonna leave me alone with him? That's so dismissive, Samuel. Like, what has Yao done wrong? He's a cool guy. But the badger is already at the other side of the end. The other side of the end of the bar, hauling the red squirrel acting as barkeep. I sigh and make my way over to the ladder. It's strong and sturdy, and doesn't creak beneath my weight, so I can ascend at a comfortable pace. There's a few more seats and crates up here, acting as tables. I look straight, trying to find the tiger amidst another crowd. But then I see a big hand on my shoulder. "Over here." "Fuck!" He is standing to my side, and now he's snickering. "A bit jumpy for a fellow your size." Oh, shut the hell up. Perhaps I'm just not used to climbing as much as you. That's a surprise to hear. You are naturally flexible. Climbing is in your nature. I suppose that's technically true. He looks confused, though, which makes me smirk. But then he shrugs it off. He clears his throat. "A few of our associates are seated in the corner." He brings me to a table full of men already involved in a lively conversation. Oh shit, they got portraits now! Yeah, the first time I played this, these fellas did not have portraits. Because I remember constantly being a bit confused, like, how do these characters supposed to sound? I don't know. What does the bear look like? Like, I kept thinking that yeah. But these guys look great. Yeah. Love his hat. Two of them are large and dominate the conversation. The Wolverine in blue overalls and a crimson shirt packs a lot of muscle on his forearm. But the black bear wears a buttoned coat, and the soldier's cap is wider and taller than even Nick. But if you asked me which one would win in a fight, I couldn't tell you. I told you. The cannery was down, and the son of a bitch wanted to stay. Jesus. So let him stay. He could have died. A lot more men will be in danger if he ever leads a crew. I can't see that happening. He ain't nobody important. Maybe not now he ain't. But I tell you, These young bootlickers rise faster than in ranks than weeds in a shit. You could find yourself in a situation where the bird passes out and he says he can't leave. Nonsense. Nonsense yourself. He ain't evil. He's just an asshole. Aw, wow. So he's like me. Same difference. So then what do you make you? Then what does that make you then? A rascal. I like this guy. I like him a lot. They both start laughing, and the tension melts like butter on a hot skillet. Boys. The two look at the rabbit's gaze, then follow it to me and Yao. Thank you, Philippe. The jackrabbit nods, closes his eyes, and crosses his arm. Then in an associative... What am I even... This is an associative, Nikolai's. He is joining my crew tomorrow. The bear hollers and the jackrabbit whistles. The wolverine gives me a golf clap. Welcome. Congratulations. Nick mentioned the possibility that some of you could know him already. Nope. Nada. Can't say I have either. Awkward but unsurprising. I have. I've heard that voice before. But where? I can't place it. The head of a black-furred weasel pokes his head out from a space behind a bear. You? You know Chang? Only very recently. Within days, as a matter of fact. Like I said when I met you, Mr. Ayers, there aren't a lot of mountain lions with white fur in this town. I've learned a lot about you since then. Shit. Listen. Can we speak alone? He makes eye contact with his associates and nods. Very well. I won't be long, Yao. You're a free man. I rub my temples as we walk to a less occupied portion of the loft and keep my voice down. Listen. Whatever it is you're going to say, could you please not? You are a prostitute, are you not? One who serves men. I can tell now by the expression on your face that it is true. Is this the guy who ratted me out to Hendrix? Dora said it could be a minor. But just because he knows about me, it doesn't mean he knows about Nick. Still, that makes him more suspicious. The most suspicious, yeah. What do you want? Likely the same as you. To be left in peace. Please don't take this personally. Can't get much more personal than blackmail. I wasn't in my right mind when I met you. He says that, but he's just as chatty as then, as the time he was doped up on opium. And I let you leave with information about me. So I needed to find some information about you. And so, my fists are balled so tight that my claws could puncture my own skin if I'm not careful. We both do things that we are ashamed of. But I am used to living with shame. Yo, same. Damn, maybe I should have taken a Tylenol before I started recording. Haven't been drinking water today. Starting to get a headache. And those are good men. And I ask that you do not reveal me, and I will do the same in kind. Do you find these terms agreeable? You're not putting your best foot forward, but it's something. Like I said, this is not personal. Fine. Shall we rejoin the others then? I guess. I stretch my back and roll my head to get the tension out of my neck. I feel like I keep hopping into one mess after another. The table didn't seem to miss me much, as they seemed to be lost in another work story. But yeah, I was sitting alone near another crate further away, overlooking the dancers, closer to the edge of the loft. He beckons us over. You two had a mysterious exchange. Now I feel like the odd one out. Why's that? I have known Nick and Chang the longest here. Yet somehow, I am the last to know you. Chang tisks. You couldn't be first at everything, friend. He flashes his, mangled hand. The tiger tries to smile, but can't quite keep it. I should find out more about the weasel. This weasel, Samuel. He's a sable. And sables are cute. He just keeps showing up in surprising places, like places I feel he shouldn't be. Mink did he say he was? Sable. I never got to thank you properly for letting me hide, letting me catch my breath. You seemed you needed somewhere to rest, and I needed somebody to talk to. That's all it was. I don't know, that's such a cute smile. I don't know. He's Chang's nice. I like him. I actually really like the side cast and Nikolai's route. Like, I really like Yao, and those other three, they're cool. I like them. I think Nikolai's route has my favorite side cast. But I do really like Todd. But I think everyone likes Todd. Yeah. I thought it was the right thing to do. And I'm happy it turned out well for both of us. So, how did you and Yao come to know one another? I took my seat in an empty wooden folding chair next to his crate. Haven't you figured it out yet? I used to be in his crew before my accident. I guess that would make some sense. We keep in touch through our translation work. But aren't the two of you both from the same country? Yes. So isn't it redundant for the both of you to translate? They both look at one another. We're from different provinces, so our dialects are different. Oh, what's a province? Yeah. Actually, look, I've used the word province all my life. And so, I have a general idea of what it means, but I don't think I've ever actually looked up the definition. So, province. Meaning. Oh, I gotta raise the volume on my phone, gotta...
Province.
Tradition, A principal... Wait, what is this? What... A principal administrative division of certain countries or empires. Okay. And there's a British definition. The whole of a country outside the capital, especially when regarding as lacking sophistication or culture. Huh. Okay. Oh, what is Webster? I just looked at the Google one, so why not? Oh, wow, that's a lot of there's like 4 definitions here. Sorry, we're gonna be here a minute. Because my mom would always talk about back in the provinces in the Philippines, so we have definition of province. 1A. A country or region brought under the control of the ancient Roman government. Well, that's not the one that we want. And then the B is the one we read before, an administrative district or division of a country. 2A, a division of a country forming the jurisdiction of an archbishop or metropolitan. Okay. 2B, a territorial unit of a religious order. Is cool. 3A, a biogeographic division of less rank than a region. 3B, and an area that exhibits essential continuity of geologic history. Also one characterized by particular structural or petrological features. Okay. I usually just end up telling people that it's like, because like the definition in my head has always been like a state but not called a state for people in Burgerland. 'Cause that's what it always just felt like that to me, right? Like, but whatever. Well, we're gonna go back to the game. What's a province? It's somewhat like one of your states. Yeah, see, but larger. Oh, was it larger? Okay. I always get the feeling that they're small, but maybe it's because it's like, yeah, like thinking when people mention provinces, I immediately think Philippines because that's just like what those people talk about. Oh, the province A, province thing, whatever. So, yeah. Since we speak different dialects, we serve different communities. But there's an art to communicating clearly, so we like to compare tactics. Yes, there's an art to communication, and I don't got it. It's fine. Yao rejects regional variation when he speaks of the traditional language of this country. You mean the grammatical mistakes? Contractions, for instance, may have begun as grammatical mistakes. But they let you say the same thing quicker and roll off the tongue more naturally. I feel that they are too casual and too flippant. Can't agree, friend. See, I love Cheng. He's so much fun. But I consider regional differences and aberration to be part of natural language too. So you're saying that you're so good at my language that you learned how to be as bad at it as I am? Not exactly. But that is what you are saying. Cheng sighs. And yet, it's still difficult for me to use new words naturally when they become more commonly adopted. Well. You all look cozy. He slams a cup of dark whiskey in front of me. Wait, did you climb up the ladder with that? Have you never climbed a ladder one-handed before? I'm disappointed, Sam. It just sounds dangerous is all. No, not at all. All you have to do is lift with one leg while you grab with the other with one hand. Then you just switch your leg. Very easy, really. You all know so much. I'm starting to feel intimidated. The table is silent while I take a sip of my whiskey. It's warm and stings my tongue in that pleasant way that a strong drink does. Cheng doesn't make eye contact. Yao presses his lips. This is cruel. Quiet, Yao. He is not the dumbwaiter. He did not see the dumbwaiter. I manage to swallow as I feel my eyes go wide. My glass goes down. Wow. Nick is the first to crack, then the sable. Lift one leg, my foot. He'll be lifting one leg to cope with the soreness of my foot, after my foot rams between his massive ass cheeks. Great. All three of them are laughing at me now. You say that. But Chang is just here smiling. These two are chuckling. But yeah, but Chang over here, he's keeping it together. Fuck the rest of y'all too. It takes them a long while to calm down. But they get there eventually. Are you a part of this labor union that Yao keeps bringing up, Chang? Considering I do not work traditionally anymore, no. But most men at the Stag are. I assist them often. They pay fairly. Oh, the music died down. There are more than a few moonlighters here for the music and the alcohol. The inside of my ears went red. And the companionship, I suppose. The music changes. Okay. I look down and see two lines of men parallel to one another. What are they doing? They're dancing. So they are. With one another? Intimately. They dip their partners low after one of the step phases ends. And their faces are real close. I never expected to see something like this in Echo. Peyton has a place they call the Stag too. I haven't seen any of those places in the southeast where I'm from. But this is Frontier, yes? You have notoriously few women in this part of your country. But there's the Hip. Plenty of women there. For the rich. For the Westerners. I gave Nick a look, asking him to back me up, but he just scratches the back of his head as if he wants to stay out of this. The Stag holds dances where men take the roles of the women when we dance. And there is a certain reputation that comes with that. With Stag meaning a male deer and rutting season. Who will not associate with Lady Deer. He used to be so embarrassed by the reputation that he was afraid to come. The tiger shakes his head. Acting that way because of a joke in the name was ridiculous. Nick is getting redder by the second. I wish I could call this payback, but he's doing it to himself. This doesn't count. Doesn't mean I'm gonna sit here just enjoying my whiskey. I don't mean to change the subject, but I'm curious about something else. Yes? Yeah, who's in charge of the labor union? What? Run the bias again? If I had to guess, I'd peg it as the big bear with the gut who's taller than Nick. He seems like a natural leader, right? Or maybe it's the Wolverine with the big arm muscles. He looks like he's somebody I wouldn't want to mess with. Sam. Yao cuts him off. Please do not take this the wrong way, but you are thinking like a capitalist. Born and raised. But we are capitalists. The entire point is that nobody is in charge. Any one of us could represent our interests. Y'all don't have paperwork or shared records? Turns out paper is traceable. I heard there was a prior attempt at that kind of organization, but it didn't go so well. Then how do you all organize? Simple. Dimitri. More words that are made up. Dimitri. Meaning. Okay. What is this? I'm gonna type definition instead. In Greek baby names, the meaning of the name Dimitri is Earth Lover of Demeter. Demeter is the mythological Greek goddess of corn and harvest. The meaning of the name is devoted to, dedicated to, or follower of Demeter, Mother Earth. Well, okay. There wasn't a button that let me, like, do the audio thing, so we just didn't do it for that. The bear, who is still in a long conversation with the jackrabbit and the wolverine, looks over his shoulder. Dimitri? Did I say that right? Yeah. Is it Dimitri or Dimitri? Maybe it's Dimitri? Fuck. like the guy from Anastasia? My favorite party member in the RPG Shadow Hearts 2. I say that, but I actually like the I mean, you have a dog in your party, and I'm like, yo, dog. Like, that's great. That's like Koromaru from Persona. Like, just like, I have a dog in my party? 10 out of 10. Man, I haven't touched that game. I didn't borrow that game. My sister borrowed that game from a friend. And like, I don't know, that game was weird. Shadow Hearts was weird. I wonder if I could find a cheap copy. Maybe I'll play it on the channel. That sounds like a terrible idea, actually. Like, playing an RPG on the channel? Like, I'm already, like, damn. I'm, like, 30 plus parts into to Password. But at the rate that, like, Smoke Room is going, we're gonna be at, like, 80 parts. I did not mention that our associates was interviewed by Briggs and Hendricks today. Both of them? He turns completely around now. Why? Two things to my knowledge. They are packing the workforce with men who promise not to unionize through fear and intimidation. Good luck with that. Good luck to them with that. And they have openly identified me as a union member who can be intimidated. I see. I admit, I do not understand what puts me in this position. I've only ever openly advocated for safer conditions. Safer men's means lower turnover and skill training, which means higher profits for the boss. I see. Your way always has been sticking your nose to the grind, hasn't it? I didn't know you're not much of a fighter, Nick. But that's where the rest of us come in. We'll spread the word. Thank you. Just do what you've been doing. My eyes are still on the dancers, dipping and twirling. You look like you want to join them. God, no. I never was one for crowds or dancing. Do you know how? I'm from the South, of course I know how. Well, I'm crippled. What's your excuse? I'm emotionally crippled, thank you very much. That's my excuse. Whatever you say. A small crowd of men enter through the doorway. The bear, the jackrabbit, and the wolverine notice them too. God damn it, not tonight. They may not notice us. The floppy-eared dog with a golden fur, wearing overalls, points to us from the crowd. You were saying? The dog and one of his friends make their way up the ladder as the rest of the group disperses into the crowd and bar. He meets us with a swagger and bounces in a step. What's the matter, old man? Pouring one out for your weary bones? Just mourning mourning for the patients is me, slowly dying. Say it with me. 20 pounds of silver. We got a 10% split between the lot of us, and not a lick for you. That would cover the cost of your tombstone, all right. Why can't you admit that I was right and you were wrong? Because you could have died. But we didn't, and we're richer for it. The Wolverine stood up and punched the dog in the face. The dog spun and an entire 360 degree before he fell over and crashed into a barrel, screaming as he went down. Let's see you use some of that silver for caps. I'd expect the music to stop if this were the hip, but they just keep on playing. Either way, they didn't see the punch, or they just don't care. I think it's time to go. No kidding. The Sable is packing his things as well. Some other time, gentlemen. But I sort of want to see what happens. Not worth being trapped upstairs if this turns into a bigger scuffle. A group of men are already crowding the bottom of the ladder. Hey, let us get down, or else I'll come down anyway. They scatter. He lets Chang climb down the ladder first, but he descends surprisingly fast. I can still hear the men shouting behind us. I'll find for you, you bag of shit. Worth every penny, pretty boy. As I land and turn, I already see Chang and Yao heading for the door. I feel the floorboards shake as Nick hits the ground behind me. We're all outside before we know it. Yao hisses at us. Walk, don't run. Not until we get to the road. By the time the barn is in the distant image in the background, we're all hollering. That was ridiculous. Do fights like that happen there all the time? Frequently enough, but they don't tend to escalate so far. Nick, you got us out of there real quick. I know how to make an exit. The size of your ass saved us. Now hold on. Tonight, I am most grateful for you. Chang rolls his eyes. This is where our paths part tonight. I wish you all a less eventful evening. Yao and Nick wish him a good night, and he splits off into another direction, blending into the dark fairly quickly. But I'm just glad he's gone. I don't want him to know more about me than he already does. Not until I know more myself. Twitchy fella. It isn't polite to say that about the weasel folk, Sam. More like he was off in a hurry is all I meant. Which, more importantly, means that the three of us are alone again. So we are. He jerks his head towards me. I have decided to share what I know with you. I knew you would, with time. He is dumb as rocks, but he has shown me his grit. Excuse me. I will have to learn a lot in a short. You will have to learn a lot in a short amount of time if you want to be clean. What we need is back at the bunker, inside my locker. Won't it be a bit late to do anything by then? Night is the best time. We have to accomplish anything. It is suspicious if we all miss lunch break. Exactly. We'll cut the episode here for now. Yeah, that was a good time, wasn't it? Gotta hang out at the stag. I do quite like that scene. It's pretty fun. But we'll end the episode. I'll see you around, everyone.